The first week that I worked with EPM Digital, my managing director said to me, you know what, Isabel, if we got this company as a client, I would be so happy. And I thought, okay, let's see if we can give you a birthday present, shall we?
You are listening to The Deal Breakdown with Derek Chevy, where we spotlight the best deals out there in B2B sales, from the open all the way to the close. Welcome to B2B Deal Breakdown podcast, where we give you the play-by-play on some of the best deals out there. I'm Derek Chevy, and I'm excited to be meeting with Isabel Farquharson-Howell. She's a sales director in the digital media industry. I'm so excited to have you on, Isabel. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Derek. It's really great to be here with you tonight.
Yeah, people have no idea what they're in store for. With your background and your expertise, this is going to be awesome. Well, let's get started. Let's go into the first question. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your background?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I've been in B2B sales for, I guess about 9 years. I am English and I work in England. I'm currently working for a company called EPM Digital. They were called Electro Pages Media. That was a bit of a mouthful, so we shortened it down to EPM Digital. And we are in the digital media space, as you say. We create websites and apps. We do VR, AR, immersive things for trade shows, virtual trade show stands, all those kinds of things that tell a story.
That's great. And for you in your 9 years, I think you said 9 years.
9 years.
What other roles have you held? Were you always at this company?
No, actually, I've only been at EPM Digital for about 18 months now. Before that, I was appointment setting. I started off appointment setting for Dow Jones and Thomson Reuters for their anti-money laundering software, and for a company called Regulatory Data Core. There was a couple of AML companies that I was appointment setting for their sales team, and then I went into direct sales, basically into engineering companies, a variety of different engineering companies, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And though I don't know how to, I'm not an engineer. But I do seem to gel quite well with that industry and the, guys and girls who are buying media in that industry and buying products in that industry. So, they tend to be a bit more down to earth, and I think I kind of get on better with those kind of people. Well,
great. So tell me more about the company you're at now. Like, what is it? What do you sell, and what challenges does your offering solve?
Okay, so EPM Digital, they create websites, they do apps, they do VR, AR, immersive technology, etc. And what we do, because I'm working with engineering companies and electronics companies, and a lot of those companies are producing little silver boxes or chips or semiconductors or whatever. Well, it's great to have a photograph of that. That's nice. But you look at it and you might as well be looking at any of them. You can't tell what they do by looking at them, and they're not that sexy. So what we do is we tell the story behind it. I say, right, okay, what does that chip do? What does that semiconductor do? How in the real world does that translate into helping somebody's life in the real world? Does it go into a car? Does it go into a plane? Does it, guide a missile? What does it do? And then we can create the story in a more engaging way to describe how that might be a good buy for their market. And so that's what we do. I make sure that I work out not just what the product is, but what that product does and how that product can best be described in an engaging way.
That's awesome. I mean, you think about even if for engineers, those people they're so intelligent that they can create these things out of nothing, just out of an idea. And then when they create it, their biggest challenge has got to be, well, how do I sell this? And especially today in the market that we're in right now, with not having trade shows, and you can't do those sort of things, and it's
super competitive as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you guys help them at all? Like with that challenge around not being able to physically show people at trade shows and things like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we that's actually the deal that I wanted to talk to you about today.
Great.
Yeah, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. We have started. We have been creating virtual booths and whole virtual events for a variety of different industries. To be honest, not just the engineering and electronics industries, which I specialise in, but also for other industries which my team specialise in. So yeah, virtual trade shows are big and not that expensive to turn out a really, really impressive piece of kit for that. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. It's not that expensive. It can be incredibly impactful. And if you do it right, and if you market it right, and if you get a trade show where people can interact with you on that virtual event, it can be really, really effective. There are loads of virtual trade shows out there that I've attended in the last couple of months that haven't worked. But I think if you do it right, then yeah, it's definitely a stopgap, or can be used to support a physical stand when they come back up. You know, if your physical stand is at, you know, one of the, I don't know, the messes in Germany, for example, and off you go to your messe and you go to your favourite stand, but you don't want to be picking up all the magazines there and taking them all back, because, you know, nobody wants to walk around with a dozen magazines. You can then just log into their virtual event and download them all as PDFs. Great.
It's such a cool offering. And I mean, it's, you think about right now, but what people are selling, and if for you guys to have an offering like that could really make such an impact and help keep this world going. I mean, trade shows and events like that are just everyday events before, you know, the pandemic started. And so it's, you guys are helping all those companies continue to sell, because, you know, they need to still find a way to do that. And the fact that it's digital, I mean, they can reach more people, because in these events, not everyone can even go to them anyway. And now all their customers can, now it's like they can actually get more out of those events probably than they would have even before. So
yeah, and the physical events cost, you know, tens of thousands of pounds to set up a stand. You've then got to transport all your stuff over there. You've got to ensure that. You've got your staff to transport over there. You've got all of their accommodation, their food, their travel, everything. It costs a huge amount of money to actually set up a good physical stand at a show and man it, and it's exhausting. We all know how exhausting that is. So to have a virtual event is it's damn sight cheaper. And can be just as effective if you do it right.
Yeah, even maybe even more effective, because this is just one of the offerings that you sell. So it seems like, wow, this is going to be a really cool deal to learn about. So so this particular deal that you're going to talk about today, how did you choose it?
How did I choose it? Well, to be honest, there were two reasons why I chose this deal, and I've been backwards and forwards. Like I said to you on the phone the other week, I've been backwards and forwards about the deal that I wanted to choose, because I've got so many great clients who I really, really love, and their products are really great fun. But this one, I really like all the people involved. You know, they're great bunch of people. It was one where I learnt some things, which was good. And also the first week that I worked with EPM Digital, my managing director said to me, you know what, Isabel, if we got this company as a client, I would be so happy. And I thought, okay, let's see if we can give you a birthday present, shall we?
Challenge accepted.
So off I went.
Wow.
And I got them. And I got them. And we are now on our fourth project for them. So they're an ongoing client. So the deal that I want to talk to you about is the first deal that I did with them, which it was a bit of a roller coaster. So the first project that we came up to actually completion was about it was about 50% of a monthly target.
That's great, though. That's great. But
exactly, it was great. It was absolutely great, and it's great to be doing business with them. Honestly, you know, I'm so over the moon with the people that I work with. Not only the client, because the clients are really nice people, but also the team that I work with. They're just, you know, they bend over backwards to make sure that the client is happy, because, you know, as salespeople, we don't make the product, but we rely on our creative teams, whatever they're creating. In my instance, it's show stands or websites or whatever. But you might be selling, I don't know, Xerox services.
Right. Well, I want to highlight the fact that that your boss, your managing director, says it would be amazing to get in this place.
Yeah,
you did it. I mean, it doesn't even matter what size the deal was. To have, I mean, an account like that you notice and that you're laser focusing, this would be amazing to win. That it's going to be a large deal. It's going to be a huge partner to have going forward. And so, yeah, it doesn't really matter the size initially, but once you get in your chance to prove yourself, I mean, you're proving that you can get any place that they say, we would have loved to get this. And obviously no one at the company has been able to do that before you came along, Isabel. And then you come along and the manager says, I would love this to happen. And you say, I'm going to make it happen. And you did. I mean, that there is like, that achievement is tremendous. So you can tell me as we go through what the deal actually grew into in the long run, which to me, it's, from obviously salespeople, we like the achievement, of the accomplishment is a big part of it. I mean, of course, the win's great, but I haven't talked to anyone else who said that their boss said, this account would be amazing to break into. And then they actually went out and did it. So that achievement, I think, is fantastic.
I've done it twice now.
You have to come back and tell me the second one then.
But I'll leave that one for another time.
Yeah, you will. So how did you? So the boss comes up with it. I guess that's how you found the deal. But
well, kind of. He mentioned it in passing. My managing director, Craig Dybel, he mentioned it in passing. I'd really like to do some business. If EPM Digital could do business with this company, I'd be very, very happy. I said, no problem at all. So my first week working for the company, I went around and I got all the business cards that I could, because I was brand new to the industry, had no idea what I was doing. I went around, I got all the business cards from my colleagues who had attended trade shows, and they're creative guys. It's not their job to sell. Their job is to render in 3D or do UX reviews on websites or whatever it is that they do. So I went around and I collected all of the business cards that I could find, and I started to fill in Salesforce, and then I started sending emails, sending LinkedIn messages, getting on the phone, and there was one card from this company, from a lovely lady who I thought, okay, fair enough, I can find her. So off I go, and I start. First of all, I went to the guy who I picked up the business card from, and I said, Matt, who is this lady? He said, oh, she saw our stuff at Embedded World last year. She absolutely loved it, but I haven't spoken to her. I just remember her saying, yeah, this is really great. This is a great bit of kit that you've got here. I'd love it if we could have something like this. I thought, yeah, okay, fair enough. So eventually I get, after about 4 weeks of emailing, phoning, trying every road that I could possibly think of without actually stalking the poor woman, I get an email back from her saying, hello, I understand you've been trying to get hold of me. Okay, enough. She said, I'm going on holiday next week, and it's going to be a long holiday. But when I get back, we will talk. And I said, well, that's fair enough. And I can't ask more than that. So I let her have her holiday. And after a couple of weeks, I thought, she's probably been on holiday long enough, hasn't she? So I start to just, send the occasional, just, oh, look what we've been up to. Look what we made. Look at this. If you're having a cup of coffee today, why don't you have a look at this? This is a new project we're working on. Thought you might be interested. Just that kind of thing. Just nothing stressful, nothing, just staying in touch. So she comes back to me and she says, I'm going to this trade show in Germany. Would you like to come? And we can have a chat while we're there. And I said, I love to. So I run off downstairs to the team who sorts out all the travel. And I said, can you get me into this trade show? Can you get me some accommodation there? Can you, and they said, oh yeah, we'll try. She said, we've asked on, kind of couple of days notice. Just don't really know. So they tried anyway. They couldn't find any accommodation because you know what it's like when you're trying to get to a trade show when, you've got 0 hour. There's no accommodation anywhere near. So I said, look, I can't do that one, but how about I get in touch with you, Embedded World, in February? Because this trade show was November last year. And she said, yeah, no problem. We can wait till February. So we decided we'd wait till February.
Can we pause?
2 or 3 weeks.
Hold on, let's pause for a second. There's so much thing here. I gotta go back. I don't want to get too far away from this. So were you the first salesperson at this company?
Yes.
You were the first salesperson. Okay. So
they'd been operating for about 20 years as little companies, and then they'd amalgamated into one company and formed DPM Digital, because that's what a lot of digital agencies do. They get together and they amalgamate skills. We brought a couple of companies together, they've amalgamated, and then they popped me in as the first salesperson, first of quite a few now.
Okay.
But,
Okay. So let me just pause there, because what you did there, I mean, there's so many salespeople I imagine that are going to be listening to this, and they're thinking, I started my company, I have a CRM, and the CRM is filled with clients and people to contact and just places to start. And they just need to open up the CRM and start figuring out who to prospect to based upon qualifying. And I just want to highlight this, Isabel. You make it seem like it's just so natural. And I haven't been able to get past this as you've been going, but you said, I need to sell. And so the first places you went, which might not seem normal to people, is you went around to all of the people in the company and asked them for business cards that they collected from the trade shows that they'd done.
Yeah.
And basically you took that and you started building your own CRM out of it. People need to realize that that is exactly, I mean, you were creating the place to start calling based upon the smartest idea, which is from business cards from trade shows. Instead of you just going searching up random companies online or wherever you'd start and say, let me just do that. You thought the best way would be go to your own people and get these business cards. And I just want to highlight that's really innovative. And for all the people out there that are starting their business, or they're getting into and the first salesperson on their team or whatever, you got to think your people at your own company have connections and they have people that they've met that could be places to start. And Isabel, what you did there is a prime example of what you do when you're starting with nothing. Not even a database, or not even the lead, the Zoom infos or the whatever out there so people can just search and something. You started with nothing. And I think that's very, very important to highlight. I love that. And even when you ask people, you said, what do you remember this person? I mean, if I were to look at business cards that I have in my drawer from out cold calling, I don't know how many people I'd actually remember from a year ago. And one of your people was like, oh yeah, this really nice woman, she came in and she said these things, and that was a year ago. And I never contacted her back. Of course they did. They're the engineers, or they're the people building it. But to remember that is also fantastic. And you were taking their memories from like years ago and using that to build out your own CRM. And I just think that is fantastic.
Also meant that it wasn't an entirely cold call when, not that I actually got through to her on the phone, but, the message that I was giving her was, I understand that you met with my colleague, Matt Duffield at Embedded World. He made the Mauser table, which is it's an augmented reality, massive augmented reality thing that's went down really well. Google it, honestly, it's amazing. and I understand that it was impressive. I'd really like to talk to you about, if we can create something like that for you guys. And she was like, yeah, I do remember it. How could I forget it? It was bright blue and it stood out in the middle of everything else, in the middle of this massive messe hall. It lit up the entire place. It was cool. It was crawling people in. They were walking into the hall, and they were like little meerkats. They were like, "What's that?" And over they'd scurry. Go and have a look at the Mauser stand.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it just shows what you can do, and how creativity and just thinking ahead, thinking about everything, about whatever edge that you could possibly have, going to the business cards. I just think it's fantastic. So then when you said you started contacting this woman, and you started contacting her, and then eventually she sends you an email back, you said.
Yeah.
That email back was, I hear you've been trying to reach me. How long of that outreach, of that prospecting, were you doing before you got that email back? And was it just cold calling, or was it cold calling, emailing,
LinkedIn? Yeah, everything. Just, every week or week and a half, 2 weeks, I'd just kind of have a little reach out. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe 2 months, two or 3 months of it. Just reach out, just give her a little tap. Hey, how's it going? And then she came back to me and said, I will talk to you, but I'm on holiday. Give it a rest. So I gave it a rest.
Okay, great. Again, so that took you 2 months. So 2 months of every week, so if that could be over 10 touches that you did in total. And you did it with being positive and being very approachable, and using just like the message that you said there before. I heard you saw this booth, and talk to you more about that for your business, things like that. And you kept going, and you didn't, I'm not surprised with how this story is already starting with your, innovation around building your own CRM, that were not a pro throughout the whole thing. So it sounds great. So then she finally gets back to you, and I guess we could assume that all of that outreach that you did, from LinkedIn, from emailing, from calling, that was like your first touch over the phone, in a sense. If you bundle them all, you responded back as in an email out of the blue saying, yes, I will meet with you after she gets back. So then you told her that you couldn't make that trade show, but you could do the next one in February. And this meeting was going to be an interesting form of a first appointment that you had with him then.
Well, it would have been if that had happened.
Oh, so tell me what happens next.
So we're supposed to meet up in November. She says, I say, I'm ever so sorry, I can't make it. We'll leave it till February. So I decide, fair enough, we'll leave it over Christmas, because nothing happens over Christmas. So I leave it for a while, and she then picks up the phone, and I get this phone call, and she says, hi, Isabel, how are you? And I'm, oh, hello. I wasn't expecting her to phone me. That's not the way around it usually happens. So I said, oh, hi. And she said, I'm coming over to the UK. I'm going to be in Milton Keynes. Can you come up and meet me? Yes, I can.
Is that close to where you were?
No, not really. I live in the southwest of the country, down in Dorset, and our offices are in Poole. So Milton Keynes is probably about a 5 or 6 hour drive up. Yeah, it's kind of Cambridge, Peterborough kind of way. So anyway, it's about a 5 or 6 hour drive. It's kind of over the country and above London.
Okay.
So I grab. She said, "I'm interested in hearing more about your augmented reality, like I saw at that trade show." Okay, no problem. So I grab one of the guys from the augmented reality team. I know nothing about augmented reality, and I say, we're going to Milton Keynes. She goes, okay, fine. So off we go, and we see another couple of guys on the way, which is really nice. But we end up in Milton Keynes, and we get the first meeting. First face-to-face meeting. She's ever so lovely, and we meet with her and one of her colleagues, and the meeting is fraught with technical difficulties, and we can't do presentations because their kit isn't working, because their security is too high, and you get a lot of this with engineering companies, defense companies, etc. Their security levels are set so high that you can't use you can't plug into it. You just can't. And so I have to have everything on a laptop. And that was the first thing I learned, was have your own thing on a laptop. Don't have it on the cloud that you try and take down, because it's just not going to work. So that was lesson number one. But we had this meeting and we talked about augmented reality, how we were going to create a 3D rendered car that would show all of their components that go into a car and how they work, kind of the thing where you put your foot underneath the bumper of the car and the thing opens and that kind of thing. Yeah. So it would be, you'd kind of use it in a virtual world, and that would be great. So we had this meeting, we had some lunch, and then we drove back home. We put a quote together. We put the quote over to her, and it went a bit quiet.
Hold on, let's pause here. So in this meeting there was also a demo too then, right? Or was there? There would have been,
but it was technical issues just said that's not going to happen. So this meeting ended up just being based on personalities and talking and literally just sketching on a piece of paper. We could do this, we could do that. We couldn't give any kind of technical demonstration, because there was no, we just couldn't plug into it. There was nothing was going to work. And she was so apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry that this isn't working. I can't believe. I said, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll just sit and talk about it. You know what it is. You know what you do. I don't have to show you what you make. Yeah. And I can describe to you, what we can do with it. I can't show you what we'd do with it, because that's what we make. Right. Afterwards, it's like you can, if you're making, I don't know, dresses, you can sketch out a dress, but you can't actually let them touch and feel it until it's made.
Right.
So,
what were they looking to solve? Like, what were they trying to? Why did
they were trying to get something eye-catching for a trade show stand.
Got it.
So it would be something that they could have at a trade show stand that people could come over and use as a 3D interactive touch screen, immersive bit of kit that would then their salespeople could then talk around that and use that as a focus point for a conversation, for a sales conversation.
Okay, got it.
And buying signals. People start playing with the stuff on your stand. They're interested in what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So you basically sketched out what this thing would look then. So that was the demo, the drawings on the napkin or whatever you had at lunch.
Pretty much.
So then the next step for them was they wanted the quote.
They wanted a quote, so we drew up a bit of a rough shopping list quote for them. You could have this for this, you could do this for that. And she accepted that. That was fine. She said, "Thank you very much. I'll run this past head office. Would you mind if we got on a phone call with some other colleagues of mine?" And I said, "Yes, of course, no problem." She said, "We'd really like you to create us an app, an online shopping app for our products." And of course, this cost is going up and up and up. And I'm thinking, God, I could do my entire year's target with this lady. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So we got on a call. We were going to do the augmented reality. We were going to create an online app for their products. We quoted it all up, and they said head office says no.
Just straight up no.
Just a head office says no. Head office. Well, what they said was, we're not going to do. After a good couple of months of kind of badgering them of how's this quote going down. She said, "I'm ever so sorry." She said, "Our major competitor has just ditched their app because it's not working for them." And so our head office says, if it's not working for them, what makes us think that it would work for us? And nothing I said was going to convince her that, you know, it was worth trying. Because it's a big outlay. And I couldn't talk to head office because they were in Japan and I was dealing with these lovely ladies in the German office. But yeah, so I could only use them as intermediaries. I couldn't, it was their idea. They wanted to do it, but unfortunately it wasn't a product that was going to come off. So I thought, what a shame. It's all fallen apart. That's very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
What do we do then? We pick ourselves up, we dust ourselves off and we get on with it. So I stayed in touch and eventually, you know, Christmas came and went and we thought, well, we're going to go to Embedded World and I will meet with her again at Embedded World, whether she likes it or not. And so I got in touch with her and she said, oh, yeah, because of this new weird virus thing that's coming out of China at the moment, we're not going to be at Embedded World. We're not going to do our trade show stand there. I said, but you have a massive stand there. She said, yeah, I know. She said, we're not doing it. She said, I don't suppose you'd consider doing a virtual stand, would you? And I said, yes, we would. Yes, we know exactly how to do that. No problem at all. It turns out, luckily, my team did, my creative colleagues did know exactly how to do that. I didn't know they knew how to do that at the time. Yes. So I just said, yes, of course we can do that. No problem at all. Set up a conversation and quoted her, and it was the only slowdown in that process was getting all the files and getting head office to actually sign off. So head office signed off very quickly. The files came over. I said, look, we need to have those files within a week, because if we don't have those files within a week, we won't have enough time to make it before the trade show starts. So if you want to put it live at the start of the trade show, I need those files within a week. She said, no problem. And that was it. It was done. It was signed off. It was within seconds done, you know. And now we've done 4 for them, which is fantastic.
So you real quick. So you mean the files? You're talking about your way of closing the deal, in a sense, was using their own trade show deadline to say, we need to have all this information.
We need all your information. We need, exactly. We need your design files for all your bits, and we need all your corporate colours. We need, you know, not just your PO number, you know, your purchase order number, but we need, you know, your
we need to build this thing for you.
Yeah, exactly. We need your corporate colours and your logo and your, you know, the files for the 3D images you want rendered to put into this trade show stand, your products. Yeah. We need your PDFs for all of your for your catalogues, so that we can create catalogues for you. All the things you want to populate the stand with, we need that information from you. Or you need to talk to us about how we're going to make that information for you. Yeah. Because, you know, if you've got it already, why bother making it again?
Right.
You know, but if you haven't got it and you want a video made to show something, we'll make you a video to show that. That's fine. But if you want us, so if you've got something already, then why not use your own assets and save yourself some money?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that their own deadline of their own trade show.
Yeah.
Got it. Created the urgency to get it all done. Yeah,
created the urgency to actually get it done.
That's great. That's great. I mean, and then they were probably marketing it too behind the scenes. You know,
massively
going there. They're spending a lot of money probably on that, and they make sure that when they get there, it lives up to everyone's expectations. So
exactly.
So, awesome. So you said that you did 4 of these since then with them.
Yeah, another 3 of those. So that was the first one was for Embedded World. Then there was one for a trade show called PCIM. Then there was another one that they did, and I can't remember what trade show that was for. But now we're building another one for them for Electronica, which is happening in November this year.
Awesome.
So
that's great. Now,
and every trade show stand, every virtual stand they've ordered from us has got another thing and another thing and another thing added. So they want a meeting room, they want an inbuilt webinar, they want, you know, sign-ins to this, that, or the other. It's all got more interesting and more creative. They're really letting their creative side shine as well as, and we're supporting them. It's really great to see. It's a really lovely process.
It's awesome. I love the fact that your company makes that too, especially right now in the pandemic. It's like more people should know about things like this. Did you run in any competition at all for this part of the project? For doing these virtual shows?
Not really. I've talked about virtual trade shows to a couple of clients. We make them for a couple of clients.
Yeah.
And other companies have said, well, we need to get 3 quotes because that's what our purchasing department want, is 3 quotes. But we're going with you because we like your design the best. We like how yours operates. You get some that are very kind of a photograph, like a 2D photograph with links on, and you might as well just have a PDF in front of you, to be honest with you. It's not very interactive. But ours is completely 3D. You can move around it, you can walk around it, you can tap on a virtual assistant and they'll talk to you because it's a guy at the office sitting there typing or whatever. We can create 3D images of the products to go in the stand. Whatever you would have on your stand, we can recreate. We're even recreating a coffee bar at the moment for one of our clients.
Wow.
I'm not sure why, but they're very keen on, they're famous for their great coffee at their show stands. And so they said, we really, really need to have this coffee bar just as a forum, like a chat forum. I said, that's fine. You want it branded up as a coffee bar? You can have it branded up as the elephant enclosure at London Zoo if you want. I don't mind. As long as you're happy, it's fine with me.
That's great. That's great. Well, this has been what a really cool deal from start to finish, and how it's changed. And it was a roller coaster. It sounds like
it really was. It really was. But then I think that's what B2B sales is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, what do you think are the 3 things that won this deal for you when you look at all back at? Obviously, looking back, it's easier to do that. But what do you think the 3 things that won the deal for you were?
So I think building the relationship first of all, and not being too pushy, but not resting back on my laurels either. Just kind of building that relationship and showing that I wasn't going to get annoyed that a deal hadn't gone through. Deal doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. It's nothing personal. You just got to keep that relationship going because eventually something will happen. There's no point in getting arsy about it. The expertise of the team, because what the company that I work for do is exceptional. And that kind of cooperation, collaboration between, it's asking the questions, it's saying to her because when the creative team say, I don't understand why she wants this, because, if we did it like this, it'd be cheaper, or if we did it like that, it'd be easier. So going to her and saying, what is why do you want this item like this? Why do you want a webinar, or why do you want people to have to log into something? And then she explains, we need it for our, Google Analytics, or, we want it for Marketo, or we want it for this, that, or the other. And I say, okay, fair enough. So if I can give you something that suits that need, and we can do it cheaper than the way that you suggested you want it done, would that be good? And she goes, yeah, great. So it's that kind of collaborative, but cooperative. We'll do exactly what you want. We will give you exactly what you want and what you need, but let us talk to you about how we might be able to save you some money here and there because we can do something a little bit different, or, how important is that really? If we did it like that, would it be different? And just kind of, working out with her where her priorities are, and working out answers to questions that she has.
That's awesome. Great. Now, what about 3 things that you do differently next time?
I think I probably would have gone to see her sooner. In COVID, I would have got on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even cross my mind right now to not get face to face with someone. But before Zoom, I was so so intent on that face-to-face personal thing that I wouldn't even consider getting on some kind of video call. That would just be stupid in my mind. Yeah. I'm an absolute convert now. Absolute convert. I'm totally converted. But I think I would have got on a plane and gone to Germany to see her very much sooner than I would have. And forget the trade show. I'd have just gone, yeah, whatever. I'll just come and see you anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's huge right there. I mean, I completely agree. It's being on these Zoom calls or whatever call it, these virtual coffees, things like that. It is, I thought it was silly too, cause let's just go see the person, right? Look them in the eye and make that connection. But yeah, it's, it has, I'm a little bit of a convert to as well. I think it's so nice to be able to connect with people. And the fact that we are talking and you are in England right now and I'm in California, it shows that, I mean, it's powerful of how those are good things that have changed because of this pandemic, and I hope those things, we still find ways to continue that. So any final words of wisdom, things to share with the audience to bring them more value in the deals that they're doing?
I think, with anyone that I've ever worked with anyone that I've ever trained or given any kind of advice to, especially in a sales environment, especially if they haven't had kind of much experience before, I just say be yourself. Don't try to be the person who's training you. Try and just be yourself. And if you've got to know your products. You've got to know your product, because if you don't know or have someone that stands with you like my colleagues do, who do know the product, who can help you, and don't be afraid to accept that help. But if you're phoning people about a product, know it. Know more than you need to know. Know a lot more than you need to know, because it gives you confidence. And if you sound confident on the phone, then that's it's worth everything, really. So be yourself. Be honest, be tenacious, and be fearless. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone.
I love it, Isabel. And I think there's so many wonderful things that you did inside of this deal that I know people are going to be learning all around the world that are listening to this, because you came into this situation, again, without any structure, without any systems that you could use to prospect and to know who to contact. And I think this is a lesson to anyone listening who feels like their company doesn't give them enough to be successful. I think this is a lesson to say, if you have the drive inside of yourself, and if you know what the right thing to do is, you just go do it. Yeah. Just go make it happen. And then, and I'm sure a lot of people that are on the team now might complain about the CRM and this and that are at your company. And you say, back when I started, we didn't have that.
We didn't have it.
Yeah.
We didn't have it.
We didn't have it.
No, absolutely. And if you don't have colleagues who have got business cards, then find out what the trade shows are that cater to your industry and go on their exhibitor list and take out every company from that exhibitor list and research them.
It's great.
And that's your CRM. That's a start, right? You got to start somewhere.
Right.
Pick up the phone.
I love it. Hey, Isabel, thank you so much for sharing this deal and the wisdom of that. You can make it happen. Just believe in yourself, be yourself, and be confident. You're going to be great. Thank you so much for being on and sharing this deal with us today.
I've had a great time. Thank you.
If you'd like to connect with Isabel or just learn more about EPM Digital, the best way is through LinkedIn. You can find those details in the show notes for this episode.
Okay, everybody. Well, that's it for today's session. Thank you so much, Isabel, for helping all of our fellow B2B salespeople out there improve their sales skills. For our listeners, if you like today's highlights, be sure to check out our summary on modernsalestraining.com. Have a great sales week, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, did you know I just finished a new course? It's called Virtual Selling Machine. I'm pretty proud of it because it will help you dominate the B2B sales world working from home. I go over everything from building your digital brand online to understanding how to best tailor your message to your customers, prospecting from home, running effective meetings over Zoom, doing amazing demos over webinar, and more. It's all packed into a 4-hour course, but I want to hook you up with 1 hour of it for free. No strings attached. Just go to www.modernSalesTraining.com/free. That's www.modernSalesTraining.com/free. Go check it out now and become a virtual selling machine.